Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here in person with you today, and it's a very, very important conference for Swansea. As Dawn said, this is something which is everybody's problem to solve together, because this isn't something that we can ignore or expect others to do for us. And very much our approach has been for the council to facilitate, support, enable, and then to help businesses deliver, because the economic fortunes of this city will depend on us being able to do that in a way that's sustainable for our communities and for the people we serve. Very, very grateful again to Dawn, Zoe, the For the Region team for helping to make sure that this event took place. From a council perspective, I've made some changes to the way in which our cabinet and our corporate management team deal with climate change. Right from the chief executive level and from myself as leader, the deputy leaders, there is leadership now on climate change. Councillor Andrea Lewis led on climate change for us up until the election, and she will continue to do so. But I have embedded climate change as a commitment and sustainable development as a commitment for every cabinet member in every portfolio, because it will touch every area of the work that the council does, and that will help us to make sure that we deliver on our plans. We are living in a post-COVID world. We're living in a world which is being blighted by a cost of living crisis. And whilst both of those things are really challenging and difficult situations, they provide opportunities as well, because they will force people to change the way in which they work, as COVID has done. They will force people to change the way in which they make choices, as the cost of living is doing. And that is an opportunity for us to try and embed better ways of living, better choices for people as a city and as businesses. In 2019, this council declared climate emergency. I think we were the first in Wales to do so, certainly one of the first. And in 2021, we followed that up with nature emergency. And we were very clear that those were not just flag-waving statements, that they had to be backed up by a robust set of actions and an action plan to get us to where we needed to be. So our commitments are to make sure that the council and everything it does reaches net zero by 2030, and that obviously we assist in helping the wider city and the businesses reach net zero by 2050. Now, those are stated targets, but I think we can do better than them by working together. Certainly, very shortly, this July, we will take a new corporate plan to Cabinet, which will have a new wellbeing objective there based on delivering on nature recovery and climate change. It has hard targets for every department, and it makes sure that we then continue to drive changes in behaviour, changes in the way we do business. I wanted to share with you some of the work that we've already done as a council to try and enact the change that we all need to make. So we are down 61% already in terms of carbon emissions since 2010. The pension fund that Swansea Council administers for Wales, where we have investments totalling £3 billion, we have divested 58% of that fund from fossil fuel investments, and we intend to completely divest in due course. We have done more on divestment from fossil fuels than any other pension fund. 12 council car parks have, at the point when I wrote this, have installed electric vehicle charging, but there is plans to have vehicle charging points in many more locations, with 32 recharging bays and 40 charging points. The council has already moved to 100% electricity from renewable sources. We did that some time ago, which is a good move, but again, we can do more by reducing the requirements to use that energy, because obviously that is better both in financial terms but also in terms of how the council's carbon footprint operates. 900 kilowatts of community solar energy panels benefit our schools and communities currently, and I know, working with BID, there are plans to extend solar panels to more large buildings throughout our city and town centres. Andrea Lewis, again, as Cabinet Member, led on the delivery of next generation housing for the Council. So again, we made a commitment in 2014 that we would return to council house building for the first time in 40 years. That was really important to do, not just for social reasons, but to try and reduce the waiting time that people had for quality homes. But we didn't want to just embark upon building ordinary council houses. We wanted to build high quality, low impact housing, and that is where we went for passive house standard. But passive house standard wasn't a clear-cut choice, because that meant that we were procuring items, sometimes which are having to travel thousands of miles, not good for the environment, and certainly not good for the local economy. So through the work that we were able to do, we've now amended Passive House to a Swansea standard, which is primarily a similar measure, but what it does do is allow us to procure all of the elements that we need from local communities, making sure that businesses locally benefit, but also that items are not travelling thousands of miles to get here, and a hidden carbon footprint then existing. We've been investing heavily in active travel together with Welsh Government partners, and we've increased the size of the active travel network, the cycle and walking routes, by over 25% in 3 years. And as I said at a recent cabinet meeting, we now have a network to rival many European cities. More investment, a further £8 million is going in this year, and that will deliver more options for people not to have to take the car and for people to take the bus or to walk. And of course, I think our communities rediscovered walking routes during COVID, which was, it was really important that we had that at the time when we needed it. We run the largest electric fleet of vehicles in Wales, 46 electric cars and vans, a hybrid car, 50 more due to arrive this summer, including an electric refuse vehicle and 2 electric road sweepers. But we will continue to grow. Eco Schools, early joiners, we were to that scheme with 42% of schools with Platinum awards and 23% with Green Flag awards. We exceeded our recycling targets in 1920, and we will be looking to again exceed our increased targets reset by Welsh Government. We've completed the switch of 22,000 street lights to upgraded low-emission LEDs, allowing us again to reduce the amount of carbon that we produce to light our streets. We're also continuing to champion the Blue Eden Lagoon, which is the revised proposal for a lagoon in Swansea Bay. A planning application is likely to be submitted later this year or early next year, and we're working with DST and our other partners on a mega green energy hub, which potentially could be stationed out at Fabian Way. We're also working with the Welsh Government to introduce hydrogen buses to the city as part of a pilot, again, and that will be one of the largest pilots ever run in the UK. And if you've passed through the city centre recently, you will have seen a significant amount of development going on. Development can be very obtrusive and certainly damaging to the environment, and certainly things like SUDs can be very challenging for developers, we know that. But our new buildings going up on the Kingsway, 71, 72 the Kingsway, the new biophilic building being delivered with our partners HESA and the Welsh Government and Pobl, will be the first fully biophilic building in the UK, using technologies not introduced into ordinary housing before, and creating a beacon of hope for a different way of living for people as we progress through this century. We're working and have had very robust discussions with Welsh Government about ensuring future flood risk, and the TAN 15 implementation is done in a way that supports sustainable and considerative development, and we are confident that we will get a solution on that which meets our green agenda. Our new public sector hub will also try to set a new standard for building in the city centre. And again, we are looking at potentially building the first wooden tower block in Wales, again using sustainable materials rather than steel and concrete. So that is where our ambition is. It is challenging, it is difficult sometimes, but it is certainly the right thing to do. But as I said, that is something that we will continue to do and to lead on as a council in terms of setting standards, but also supporting you as businesses and as our community to make the necessary changes, because we will not reach the 2050 target without all of your help and support. It needs to be
collaboration, it needs to be co-production. It needs to be something we create, design and deliver together. So thank you very much for being here today. I hope the event is successful. Looking forward to hearing the debate going on, and I'm really excited about what we can achieve together. So thank you all very much.